You pick a subject, paint a picture, we print it in the issue. I write 1,000 words on the same subject. We have an assembly. Words versus pictures, which is worth more?
Your career has just been so fascinating and interesting, from big, broad comedies like Roxanne to really dark material, Cry in the Dark. Talk a little bit about that, about spanning all of that for me.
I don't like to go down the same roads. I really like to try something different all the time. I like it to make me nervous. I might not know enough about it. I might feel slightly out of my depth. It takes me on a great journey, and I learn something in the process. So,
can you think of one good thing to say about me?
I'm at a loss for words.
This is a wonderful movie. Tell me a little bit about Jack in this film. What's got Jack going?
Well, he's a teacher. He's kind of, I think when he arrived at the school, he was the hot, he was a very successful writer. He was a very inspirational teacher. I think everything's got a little flat. He's got a little jaded. And he's struggling with some personal issues. But he is a great lover of language, and, inside of him is a brilliant teacher. Juliette Binoche's character arrives. She thinks art's much more important than language. She tells the kids that. That annoys him, galvanizes him, and gets him going again. And, they start a competition in the school about what's more important, and it wakes him up, really.
Now, this is a very dramatic film. It's also very funny, which I think has a lot to do with Fred and you guys. Talk a little bit about just the funny.
Jack is struggling with some demons, and there are some very emotional scenes, but he's to never let it get too heavy, to keep it, always buoyant. And, those scenes, we had to talk a lot about where to pitch it in terms of, the film as a whole. But Fred's, so experienced. He he knows, how to keep that going very well.
What happened to you, Jack? You came here full of literary awards and full of promise. You turned the classes on their heads, so...
Yeah, I remember I got laid a lot then.
You gonna punish me with that?
Words and pictures. It doesn't fall deaf on one that in order to experience this movie, one must engage in both the words and the pictures. As a filmmaker, how did you process that notion of bringing these things out?
The story does it for you. The script was, all the ideas were in the script, and that inspired both the actors and myself, or all the actors. You sort of use it as the guide, and then as you're going along, it becomes a little bit instinctive. If you're playing word games, when are they sincere and when aren't they? If you've got all that, aren't there times when words and pictures won't suffice, and therefore, maybe the music is the only way of getting across something that you're feeling deeply. And, as a director, you're playing with that all the time.
You're attracted to me?
Very much.
Why?
Same species, different sex.